Welcome everyone to Haven of Horror. As always, I am Subject, and I have Robert the Mime Wild with us. Let's turn my camera on. Hello. No, I cannot hear you. What?
A mime, John.
There we go. Oh. Anyway,
I should have done that for the whole commentary.
should have.
Bit.
Like that one commentary that Cap and Eric did, where like he couldn't talk about Begins or whatever.
We should do our Art the Clown themed Terrifier commentary one day, where we're just silent the whole time. But welcome, Terrifier fans.
Welcome it's a big to the made by committee slasher movie. Anyway, we're not gonna have any preamble because we're on a schedule. So, Robert, are you at timestamp 0?
Oh shoot! Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah, for some reason, like sometimes I hate Peacock. It just won't let me turn on the subtitles. I don't know why, but it's fine. This movie doesn't have it. This movie doesn't have the most dialogue. Let me restart. Okay, I'm good to go.
In 3.
Hey, you got the timer. You got the timer set up.
In 3, 2, 1, play. So today is the official release date for Terrifier 3, right?
Yes.
So maybe it's good that because we were going to do this yesterday. It's probably better that we do it tonight.
It was. Oh, go on.
But so we're not going to spoil any. We're not going to have any spoilers for Terrifier 3. Robert's the only one that's seen it. But Robert, just spoiler-free impressions. How did you feel about 3?
Loved it. Thought it was great. I think these movies just get better and better. It starts with a movie, this one, that I think is just okay. I think I had a better viewing of it when I watched it with you just for fun a few weeks ago. Depending on the person, this is a better movie to watch with people than just by yourself, I think. But this movie has some really strong moments. Art the Clown is an instant icon. David Howard Thornton, his performance is so good, and what elevates this movie, it's that and a couple kills. But on every technical level, these movies just get better and better. 2 has much stronger characters, or a great female lead, with one of my new favorite final girls, more emphasis on story, a lot more ambitious, maybe too ambitious, some would say. And then 3 is like, wow, this is really good quality. It's well shot, the color's great, it's a good looking movie. I can't think of another series that improves this dramatically, just quality-wise, on it from a technical perspective with each installment, because they get more money, and so far that hasn't been a problem. It's just like, yeah, these movies are successful for a reason. They're getting more money, and they're getting to make better movies because of that. We're not at bloated budgets yet.
And I was going to say, I don't want to take anything away from Damon Leone's accomplishments here, but it is important to note that from this movie to 3, the budget quadruples, probably more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's really inspiring to see in this day and age a slasher franchise start at the bottom and work its way up into these are a phenomenon at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the second one.
This movie is okay. I mostly like it for the performance and for the kills. But when we rewatched it, I was like, yeah, I'd rather watch that one. And see, this is where I was confused with 2 kind of going, well, he's just supernatural. And this, he's just a dude putting on makeup.
That's true. I mean, he is putting on makeup. We know that the outfit's real, but at the end of this movie, they establish that no, he's supernatural. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil much, but I just give my general impressions. Like I said, there are a couple things I like about 2 that aren't in 3. Just for example, in 2, he gets a really fun little sidekick, the little girl, and she's not in 3. That's not a spoiler. She's just not in the movie, and I kind of assumed.
Yeah, if there's one criticism I would have for this franchise, is it seems like he's making it up as he goes, which isn't a huge deal.
Definitely.
But I wish he kind of would have planned, like, if I get sequels, this is where I'm going.
I'm curious. There isn't anything in 3 where I'm like, oh, that feels retconny or forced. It feels like a pretty natural continuation of 2. And with this lady, this character who has her face messed up, it's just a perfect tangible example of the budgets where the makeup in this one is so phony looking, but it's fine. You just go with it. And in the second one, it's a little better. And in the third one, she's a standout. Like, the makeup's fantastic, and that actress gets to do a lot more. Again, not trying to spoil anything.
So answer me this without spoiling. Do they explain why she's this way?
She's evil now. They don't give you a good.
Wow.
Well, no, that's not true. There's kind of an explanation.
Okay.
There's
Do they
kind of
explain that post-credit scene? Because that's the thing that I really need explained.
they explain it. I don't need technobabble for everything. I don't need an exposition dump. Sometimes you just gotta go with it. I think in the context of this film, the idea is just she was mutilated and traumatized and has gone insane. By the third one, it's clear that there's a supernatural component going on with her. I'll say that.
And we talked about this a little bit with 2, but I discovered these movies through the Dead Meat channel who covered this movie. Shout out to them. That channel is awesome if you're a horror fan.
Yes.
I haven't been keeping up with their content as much as I'd like to, but
on their podcast this week, have you ever watched one of their Guess the Kill episodes?
I have not.
Where they'll play like audio from a kill in a movie out of context, and James has to try to guess what it is. This one, both James and Chelsea had to figure out. This week's was really entertaining.
Oh, that's fun.
Those are
on
fun.
A podcasting kick, I listen to their podcast a bit, and that's how I kind of realized James and I go look at for different things in horror. He doesn't seem to like the schlock stuff as much as I do, which isn't a bad thing inherently. It's just like, yeah. And here we have discount Sidney Prescott.
Yeah, she does look a lot like 90s Nev Campbell.
You said the blonde has a podcast now, right? When we did Terrifier.
Yeah, with James from Dead Meat. You know, it's not his podcast. Like, he's just a co-host on it. But yeah, what is her name? It's not... Maybe Gabby? No. Wait, am I looking at the right? No, I'm looking at the wrong movie. Damn it. But yeah, it's called Scream Dreams. Worth check. Another good horror podcast. They get a lot of good guests. Barbara Crampton's also like a regular co-host on it. It's worth checking out.
Have you
Michael
seen,
Rosenbaum was a guest.
Oh God, what's the name? Suitable Flesh yet?
I still haven't seen Suitable Flesh. I've heard she's great in it.
She is. She's great.
Barbara Crampton. So I think who I'm thinking of is Catherine Corcoran. Okay. The blonde here, which is really cool because I think she talks about like this movie kind of fondly, which you don't always get. Like, not every actress likes doing these types of movies and then tries to kind of, which I mean, to each their own. But it's cool and people are proud of it.
I didn't say anything.
The genre they're in.
No, so this is what, so you've probably noticed doing all these shows with me. My brain will get stuck on things even if I'm not that passionate about it. I really hate when actors are like ashamed of movies that started their careers. But yeah, I'm going to use Jennifer Aniston. You see that with the horror genre a lot. I'm going to use Jennifer Aniston as an example because we all know she's ashamed of Leprechaun. You were in a movie about a killer leprechaun. Own up to it. You are a successful millionaire actress at this point.
Yeah, and then you get... It's so funny when you get people like Betsy Palmer, who is, a well-established actress, who's in plenty of good movies, had a solid career, and now the thing she's known for is Friday the 13th, a movie she openly said multiple times she thought was a piece of shit, but she still embraced the fans and, wasn't, like, oh, I hate that. You can do both. Like, you should also be honest about the thing you're in, but still be like, yeah, the fans are awesome. I'm remembered for this.
Yeah,
it's all about your...
brought that up because that is a different case where it's like, at the time she was like, "Oh, this is stupid. Like, I just need a paycheck." But she understood that people liked it, and she was happy that
Yeah.
people liked her in it.
Right.
Whereas you have like Jim Carrey, it's like, well, this movie is very violent, and I can't promote this movie that I got paid millions of
Yeah.
dollars to do.
Yeah.
So if I have one complaint about this movie, we're gonna have a scene up at a moment. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I don't need that.
Yeah, and I can say that there isn't anything that gross out in 3.
Because two has that a little bit with the girl in the laundromat.
A little bit.
And I didn't need
There
that either.
there is a scene in 3 with Art at a urinal that's very funny, but it doesn't like go super gross. But
Like these
this
movies are a bit childish, with the gore and stuff, but that is just like
yeah.
these movies are above that.
Well, this you can tell with this movie more than any others of just still trying to figure out what tone we're going for, how far we're going to go with certain stuff.
Yeah.
And by 2, it's a little bit more refined. And again, he is what's making this movie. His performance as Art is so good. He has so much personality. It's like the silence of a slasher like Michael or Jason mixed with Freddy's personality. And then you have
because no disrespect to either of these actresses. A lot of it is the writing. I don't care about either of these people.
No, again, I think the blonde's a little fun. I could just be biased just because I've listened to her podcast and she's a really fun, likable person. But yeah, these aren't great characters. The thing everyone should be able to agree about on 2 is that 2 has a great final girl, and that's a big step up over this one in that department.
Yes. Well, and like with this one, the final girl's not even in it for most of the movie.
Right. This does the fake out final girl thing,
which can be fun. The problem with that is you get me invested in a character, even if it's not a great character, and then you pull the rug out from under me, and I'm not always. If you're going to do that, the other character has to also be in the movie.
Sure.
I always use Evil Dead, the remake, for an example. Everybody thought that the brother was going to be like the Ash stand-in, and then it pulls out the rug, and it's actually Mia, and it works there because I still like both of those characters, and I spend time with them.
And going into that movie, whether you're familiar with that franchise or not, Mia's the first one possessed, so you're assuming, oh well, she's the first victim. Like they're gonna have to kill her at some point. You don't expect her to be the hero at the end because she's the first one possessed, and it doesn't feel like she.
Yeah. So we're definitely getting a 4, right?
Yes, 4 is confirmed.
And for me, because I saw the Hatchet movies before this, these kind of fill that like void that those Hatchet movies have left. Apparently, we're just never getting Hatchet 5.
I did watch. I know you're not interested. I watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 yesterday.
Oh, I'm still debating it.
I'm not gonna say it's on Hatchet quality, but like it's close. It's in that ballpark.
Is it better than the first one?
Considerably better.
Okay.
It's like, so we were saying earlier how Terrifier 1 we think is just okay, but then we think 2 gets a lot better. It's like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. It's like we're almost on Terrifier 1 quality. So maybe the third one is when it's great.
Teddy, this movie is kind of just showing. This movie is just kind of showing of Art. I personally think the franchise actually starts at 2. Yeah, but you get like the final girl on this is important.
Yes,
that's about it. Like you could start with 2.
Yeah, and there's not an insignificant amount of people who dislike this one or wouldn't like it, but could get into 2.
Yeah, like my buddy, I've been pestering forever to let me show him one of these because he's very squeamish, and all he knows about this movie is the upside down kill. He's finally letting me show him one, so I'm going to show him 2.
And like you said, I could see some people preferring 2 over 3, just depending on like what your sensibilities are, like what your taste is. But 3, I think, succeeds in what they were going for in trying to marry the grindhouse mean grit of this one with the more fun fantasy character driven second one. I think 3 is a really good fusion of those two ideas. And you get the best of both worlds. Again, it's not perfect. It's not a 10 out of 10 movie or anything. But overall, I think it is the best so far. And it's the best looking. I'm like, oh my God, like this looks great. And I'm seeing it in a theater and it looks so good.
Well, and I'm glad to hear that from you, because I was looking on Letterboxd, and a lot of it is like 2-star reviews, but you could tell like they weren't Terrifier people.
Sure. Yeah, mileage will vary.
Teddy, I mean,
Like,
there are people who like this one and don't, or who like this one and don't like this one just because of the grid.
Right. It's slashers are that thing where it's like the reasons why people like them are the reasons why people dislike them. It's like I hate gore. I love gore. It's like, yeah, it's a Rorschach test of genres.
Yeah, so like I've always said, the Rorschach test for if you're gonna vibe with my movie taste is Jason X. If you can get on board with Jason X, we're gonna have similar movie tastes.
And if you don't like Evil Dead 2, I'm shunning you. We're just not.
I don't know what to do with you. But I don't use Evil Dead 2 as a litmus test, because that is a well-made movie. My test is, can you handle the schlock? Like, this is kind of poorly made, but like that's what's awesome about it.
Yes. Yeah, and this one is in that territory, and by 3, like, again, it's really well shot.
See,
it's really well lit.
I don't need that. I don't want to look at that.
No, this is gross and unnecessary. But
that
with
is
3,
my limit. I don't know if we were discussing that. That is my limit. I don't want to see.
Sure, they don't show too much of it. Like, it's not that gratuitous, but yeah, gross.
Oh, so Teddy corrected. So I think there are people who like this one and don't like 2. That is possible.
There are some, yeah. If you like the more grindhouse, grittier feel of this, and again, I think 3 balances both, and we've talked about this before. What this one has a very low budget grindhouse look that 2 kind of gets away from and is more modern and digital looking, kind of to evolve. Again, I think some scenes look better than others, but 3, my only gripe with it visually is you can tell they're using like a filter to make it look like film, even though it's probably still shot on digital. But like, that'll probably look fine on TV. You know, I saw this in a movie theater, but I was still very impressed with the lighting, the shot composition. I was like, man, this looks like a real movie. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it to come to digital.
You know what? Okay, what I'd compare 3 to visually is like, if this one is like one of the early, cheaper Friday the 13th movies, compare 3 visually to something like Jason Lives, which you can tear like, oh, this is a Hollywood-looking movie. That's what I'd compare it to. Hey, and 3 just nails that Christmas.
Hey, guy without glasses, do you agree with me that 3 is the best stuff?
3 is such a great. Oh, so you've seen it, Teddy? I didn't.
That's what I'm going to call you from now on. You're the guy without glasses.
I can live with that. That's fitting, because I'm the only guy in my family without glasses. I was cursed with good eyesight.
I'll trade you.
I'm a stranger. Yeah, 3 is an excellent opening. Oh, it's so good. You can tell there's a lot of love for like Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night, like those types of movies, and Terrifier 3. Awesome. It's so good. And as we've been talking over this riveting character-driven dialogue, we're waiting for the good stuff to kick in.
Yeah, so I was going to say this. One thing I will give you, because you said you think maybe the blonde is a little bit better. She brings a little more energy to it.
Yes.
No disrespect to the discount Nev Campbell. She's really flat in this movie, just like performance-wise.
Mm-hmm. And to her credit, I think she's at her best, like, in the scenes with Art when she has to be scared or in pain. I think she's okay in those scenes, and that's, what really counts. But I'm glad you brought up acting, though, because, like, how in 2, it's like, Lauren Lavera as Sienna, like, oh, she's really good. She's a great final girl. And then you get the actress as the mom, who's not a great actress. Everyone in 3 is solid. There is not a single actor in 3 that's like, oh, they're kind of amateur, not very good. Everyone in 3 is good.
Yeah, I mean, and $2 million, you better be able to afford like actual actors.
Yeah, there's one guy in it who's likable. who's fun, and then he doesn't deserve what happens to him. And uh, fucking and then like Clint Howard shows up, and I don't, if you don't know who Clint Howard is, he's Ron Howard's brother. He's in a ton of old movies, but he shows up like this old guy looks like Clint Howard, and I'm like, holy shit, it is Clint Howard. And then there, I don't know if you know about. There's a really awesome cameo in 3. I won't spoil it if you don't know
Okay.
about it, but there
I
is a
don't know.
really fun cameo. If you're a horror fan, you'll recognize this person, but there's a great cameo.
He's in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4.
That's right. Yeah, that's fun.
Because no, I don't know that guy by name, but I might have seen him in something.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in 2003's House of the Dead.
Oh, of course he.
Teddy, one thing I think this movie has at a disadvantage for me with this one, I don't think they fully get Art's humor quite yet. No, this is very much a prototype.
Yes.
I
Again,
mentioned the franchise earlier, Robert. I would very much compare this to Hatchet 1. I don't know if you have this with them when you watch them, but Hatchet 1 doesn't feel like the full package is quite there. You get there with 2.
Right.
And part of that is because we recast.
Because we get Daniel.
Like there are moments in 1, but 2 and 3 have great funny art moments that isn't much as part of the first one. And you mentioned that guy that doesn't deserve it. I kind of like those in slashers. It's really easy to forget that the slasher is supposed to be evil.
Yes.
Because he's just killing people we don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've talked about this numerous times, but there is this. We saw this a lot in like that glut of 2000s horror remakes. That trope of, well, you're supposed to hate the characters and root for them to die. And it's like, that's true sometimes, but not most of the time. If you watch actual 80s slasher movies, most of the characters are just fun, normal kids. They're just hanging out. You'll maybe have like that one stock bully character, but
I mean, the
like,
greatest stock bully death is Friday the 13th Part 7, when the blonde girl opens the door and just gets an axe to the fucking face.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, no, sorry, I'm sorry. Second best. The best will forever be Trey from the Nightmare or from the Friday remake.
Trent. Oh,
Trent. Sorry.
And I think that movie has an
lame,
okay.
But
it is
hateable.
That actor's great. But again, this movie, it's a vibe thing. It's a proof of concept. Which isn't meant to be like a harsh criticism. This movie was made on almost no money. It's a miracle this turned out as decent as it did on such a low budget. But a lot of this is just padding. Like, we just gotta fill out a.
Oh, he's also in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's I think it's just a lot of people. So probably one of those like background doctors.
There's Rob Zombie's Halloween is a whole who's who of like old character actors.
I mean, there's a lot the best scene in that. Like, I like that movie more than most people, but the best scene in that movie is the Kid 40 scene.
Yes. And I mean, now this one's I mean, like, say what you will about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Brad Dourif is great in those.
I haven't seen that since the theater, but I couldn't deal with Laurie in that movie.
I wonder what you think of the director's cut. Most people agree it is the better.
Maybe I saw that once. I don't really remember. We'll do those eventually.
They're very different.
Me and you.
Yeah.
So we talked about it a little bit off screen just because nothing's happening yet. I watched the Wolfman remake for 2010 today.
Yeah, you didn't care for it.
Spoiler alert, it sucks, chat. I'm just disappointed that a movie with Hugo Weaving made me not care that Hugo Weaving popped up on my screen.
Yeah, and also, but also, you know, the production of that movie was a mess. Yeah, it could have been better, but I think it's got great makeup. I like some of the cast. I love the atmosphere.
The werewolf looks good. Once you get past the shitty transformation.
Yes, and again, that's just because they didn't have time. The production of that movie was strictly a nightmare. I think this is one of the best like non-gory scare gags in the movie, and where earlier we see her take that selfie with Art where he's like staring ahead, and then when she looks at it again, he's staring at her in the photo. Like that's such a good creepy visual.
Yeah, no, I love that. And what I like about Art is that like he feels like a force of nature. Um,
Mhm.
Jason, like I'm gonna compare it to Jason because Jason is my favorite slasher. Jason is a force of nature in that you can predict what he's gonna do, but you can't stop him. Art is the force of
Yes.
nature is you can't predict what he's gonna do, and you can't stop him.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hi,
Art's theme is cruelty.
bye, blonde
And
lady.
any weapon. No, she's still alive. She's not dead yet.
Yeah, but she's gonna be out of this movie until that big scene.
But yeah, seeing the third one theatrically, it wasn't like a super packed theater, but there were a lot of people.
Mm.
There was like a middle-aged couple to my left where
Oh
I was
God,
like, "Oh God, let's see if they." And she was squeamish a lot. They made it the whole movie. I didn't see anyone walk out.
Teddy
Like
says
anyone who
one
got up.
person could almost stop him, but he doesn't exist yet. That was a spoiler for
That's
the
correct.
third one.
No, I think he's just talking about Sienna in the second one.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, the crowd was interesting because people are talking during the trailers and stuff. I'm like, how is this gonna go? First 45 minutes of that movie, dead silent, like dead quiet. Everyone is just locked in, and like this is some dark shit. And then there is like a very clear, this is the funny scene in the movie with Art. Teddy knows what I'm talking about. My theater was howling laughing. And I was like, okay, cool. But and that's like almost an hour in, and like, okay, cool. People are still with the movie because there was a very clear like, this is the funny scene, and it's great.
I'm gonna bring it up to Kat, but he accepted my challenge to watch a Terrifier movie, and I need to see that happen.
Yes. Ah, he's gonna regret it.
Yes, he is. It's like, do I recommend this one because it's shorter, or do I recommend the one that's like I think he might like more because there's characters, but it's like longer?
I would pick two, but
Yeah.
yeah, but that's part of the fun of it. I think with this movie, he'd just have less to say about it.
Yeah. Probably should. Yeah, recommend two.
But the
Teddy.
scenes
Well, yeah. One of the things I love about Art is that he has no rules. He'll use any
exactly.
weapon. He'll kill any. Yeah, he just doesn't care. He's a force of nature.
This is one of the scenes I'm talking about in terms of budget, where this lady is fine, but this is gonna be a weird criticism. Is she looks too pretty? I don't buy her as a homeless person, and like they just don't have great makeup. Like her hair is just a little frizzy, but like
I buy it a little bit because she looks like she hasn't eaten in like a month.
she has kind of a gaunt look to her, but I don't know.
But she is. Yeah, she's a little too well made up. Yeah. That's the
She looks a
problem with
little too
modern
clean.
horror in general. Like, I really like the Carrie remake, but they don't do enough to make Chloe Moretz look like I would imagine Carrie is. Right, whatever. How many easier to pronounce name?
Even Sissy Spacek at in the original, who looks like a dorky kind of outcast student. Before that, like I think she won a beauty pageant. Like she wasn't like even like in those days standards, she wasn't like conventionally unattractive or anything. Like I said, she won like beauty contests and stuff. But that movie knew how to do her makeup and her hair to nail that look and her performance. Obviously,
Honestly, the one that probably looks closest to like the book. Well, not even to the book, but probably what she would sound. Because in the book, she's a little more heavyweight or overweight.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only way Stephen King knows how to write like a outcast in the 70s.
Yeah.
Um, the 2002 movie is not great, but I think it probably has the best casted Carrie.
You're not the only one to say that. I've heard some good things about that.
I've
heard it's a mixed
I just
bag.
sent you a photo of her.
Oh, okay.
She's in that movie May. That movie is fucked up.
Oh.
Yeah, the TV movie is fine. It has the book thing where it's like an interview and the events of the story are like being told by people,
Hmm.
which is what the 2013 remake was supposed to have, but all that got cut, so it's just awkwardly like bookmarked.
Mhm. So we've talked about before how some people like the grindhouse look of this movie, and I do too. I think I like more what the look of this movie's going for than what they can afford. I like the neon lighting with the pink and the green. It's just funny because I don't know what the light source is. I'm not actually complaining. I don't know why this
My
grindhouse
issue
is
is
like
this
this.
movie has kind of this washed out look
Yes.
that I think clashes with some of the other stuff. I also got with no glasses. Everyone talks about the shower scene, but I think there's a kill. The Thompson that should be the blank kill for this one.
There that the shower scene is so awesome. Holy shit. But there's a couple kills that get a lot of points for creativity where I'm like, I haven't seen that before. Dude, like there is a kill that's obviously a riff on on an iconic type of kill you've seen before, but fashioned in a portable weapon that art constructs. And I'm like, I haven't seen that before, and it's really fun.
We're kind of in a new
He's
age for that. I didn't love in a violent nature, but some of those kills
it's
I have never seen before.
Yeah, there's some good ones for sure. That it's for me to think like, what's the best kill of the year? I don't know. It's
Yeah, I mean, I still
because
gotta see
Terrifier
three,
3's got
but
some good ones.
slight spoilers for in a violent nature. That one where she's like sucked in through herself.
It's so good. Oh, stop cutting her leg.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's an Evil Dead reference, right? Like to the ankle.
yeah. That's still, that be for all its goofy effects and makeup. That part still
That
hurts
pencil to
when the
the
pencil
ankle.
goes in the yeah.
Oof.
Ugh. And then the 2013 version, it's like, okay, let's just do that, but 100 times.
And
That's
you
what
know,
that
we've
whole
never
movie.
done any. Or no, wait, we did the first movie, so we've still got most of the Evil Dead movies to do commentaries and reviews on.
Sweet. What is our 400 goal? Is that Evil Dead 2
Evil Dead 2.
commentary or sweet? We might get
That's
to that
just
this
self indulgence because that movie's peak.
month.
No, it's funny. I'm glad to see that movie kind of get a resurgence in popularity. I don't, and not maybe like a reevaluating, but I didn't feel like a lot of people talked about it until like the show happened and then Rise happened. Now people are like, yeah, Evil Dead 2 is kind of like one of the best horror movies.
Mhm.
The
Yeah, I
director
mean,
said
and for like,
what really adds to the runtime of these movies is actually the kill set piece and the fact that Art has to toy with his victims a bit. Oh, for sure.
that's true. And that's part of what makes him unique. Yeah, he doesn't do quick kills like Jason or Michael. You spend a lot of time with them, and with the sheer quantity you get in 3, I get why. Again, now if I'm gonna gripe about 3 or find a fault in it, I think you could shave off probably like 10 minutes. It does drag a little in the middle, but it starts strong and ends strong, and that's what's most important. Um, but it's just nitpick. You could shave off 10 minutes. It's not as intrusively long as 2 is, which I respect for its audacity. It still doesn't bother me. The problem with 2 is that feels like just what the director's cut should be. It feels like there should be a proper shorter cut of that movie, but all we got was the director's cut. But lady Victoria Samantha Scafidi, I'm probably mispronouncing that. Sorry. Like she's whatever in this movie. She's just our surprise final girl for the end, and then twist, she gets deformed and evil, and then she just has a cameo in the second one. She's really great in the third one. She
That's
gives
awesome.
a great performance. Where it's like, oh, she can actually act cool, like, or she's growing, but like,
God,
it's really worked out.
we're only 30 minutes into this movie, and I feel like we're already gonna get rid of the fake final girl.
Yeah, it happens. I think it happens at kind of the mid.
Dude, that opening is so good. Yeah, I'm hoping it comes to Screenbox before the end of the year so I can put it on my best and worst of list for the year.
They could, maybe the reason why they put out theatrically in October was to give it a digital release in December, like for the holiday season. Like that could be the plan.
It'd just be funny because that'll make on my list, but Nosferatu won't. Why is that a December movie?
It looks like a good Christmas movie to me, man. Looks like some Yuletide fun.
He clearly can't hear you.
And again, it's not a problem just with the budget they're working with. It's just get used to this warehouse because this is where we're at for this whole movie.
Yeah.
In 3, I'm surprised how much geography we cover. We go to a lot of stores, different houses, different locations.
Well, 2 even has that for
2 has that too.
No, that's actually one thing I like about this movie. It's just that it is in one place.
Yeah, like it's part of it.
We don't get that. We don't get that a lot with slashers.
Mm-hmm. But now we're at the big scene of the movie.
Teddy, I also think they just see October as the Terrifier release year. Yeah,
sure. It's doing well at the box office. People are saying
like this is sadistic.
Oh yeah,
and I don't just mean what he does. It's the fact that he makes her watch.
That's the worst. You know, the worst part's the dishonesty.
Yeah. Really, the worst part is the hypocrisy. I don't even know what that's from. Just Austin and them started saying it. Now it's like in my head.
I don't know if I should talk about this now or save it for after the commentary.
Oh god.
I'll probably forget about it. But yeah, like I've heard like from some people who just really liked this movie and loved the grindhousey, gritty tone of it that didn't like the second one, that just didn't find it scary. And I mean, more power to them. Like I don't know if I find the second one scary. I just think it's a better movie. Mm-hmm. But if you're in that camp of people who was disappointed by the second one, give the third one a shot. It's a lot darker. It goes meaner.
It's funny. I follow. I don't know if you know about the YouTuber I Hate Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's Norm Macdonald. That right. That makes sense. Okay. No, I like him. He's funny.
Yeah, he's great.
But and I can't take credit for that, Teddy. That's just me referencing Austin. What was it? Oh, it's funny. So I follow I Hate Everything on Letterboxd, the YouTuber. Because I really liked he used to do these search for the worst, where he would watch like the worst rated IMDb movies, and he watched Terrifier 2 and he hated it. He gave it like 2 stars, and I saw today he rated Terrifier 3 like 1.5. But you didn't like the second one. Why didn't you go see the next one?
Yeah, I just don't agree with any of that. But more power to him.
I can see not liking it because it is a very niche, specific like. But I'm like, if you don't like the second one, what makes you think you're going to like the next one?
Oh my god. Yeah, and props to this actress. This looks like a comfortable stunt. This must have been a pain to film, but she did it.
Yeah, no, kudos to her. Especially because she Teddy, see, I think the hacksaw kill is worse than the bedroom scene just because it's none of the dark humor, lack of a better word, fun. This is probably
it's
worse,
messed up.
But the bedroom scene just keeps going and going.
Yeah. At least this character character is dead relatively quick compared to that one. Oh god, so messed up.
Uh,
And there is a scene in the third one that kind of riffs on this, or it's clearly kind of an homage.
I don't know.
But
She
oh,
doesn't die as quick as you're saying. I think she's still alive.
I'm saying compared to the second one,
Uh, yeah.
once it's through her face, she's done.
What if she's? Well, no. It's what if she's still alive and like both halves were just moving? No,
That'd be
Robert,
great.
what's wrong with us?
I don't know. This is the quintessential franchise of like I don't want to have to explain to people why I like these. I look like a friggin' psychopath. Yeah, like she's dead now. It's
So for me, there's always that disassociation where like I like these because they're a stage for special effects. I don't just
yes, that's a big
enjoy
fan.
watching people be murdered.
Well, a lot of people who hate these and why these were so controversial in the 80s was it's like those critics viewed them like they were watching snuff film. Like you guys know it's not real, right? It's
No, we have to.
saying this scene made you uncomfortable or looked real is a compliment to the movie. That means they did their
We have
job.
this really weird thing where people take slasher movies seriously, and I'm gonna use this because this is a pet peeve of mine. As a wrestling fan, I have to hear on a daily basis, well, you know that's not real, right? Yes, it's a television show.
Mhm.
Slashers aren't real either. They're a movie.
Yes.
Why does fiction have to be real? Wrestling is a soap opera with fighting in the middle. It's awesome. Everybody should love it. There is a zombie biker wizard guy.
uh who was it? Chris Jericho who gets the cameo at the end of the second one?
Yes.
He is back in 3. I will say that.
I did know that.
Okay.
He's I have complicated feelings towards Chris Jericho because he's kind of turned into like a Hulk Hogan of like I'm gonna
Oh,
I'm gonna make it all about me and like screw the younger guys. Teddy, I don't recommend these movies unless I know the person is already into these kind of films.
exactly. Yeah.
I'll say I'm the asshole. I'll recommend it just to see if they'll actually go through with it. If they make it through it.
I just think it would be really funny to show Terrifier 2 to Cap and hear him say stuff like, "Oh, there's not much character, there's not much story, it's all very thin." It's like, "Oh, but now watch the first one and see if you still
It
feel
would
that
be
way."
interesting just to see. Captain Logan's a friend of ours. How far
Yeah.
he's come because I don't know if you remember he couldn't handle Reanimator a few years
Yeah,
ago.
that's true, but that was also like 9 years ago.
Well, that's why I say
He's
I
seen
see
a
how
lot of
far
shit
he's come.
Yes, dude, he watched Society, which even you haven't seen yet. Like that's
Oh yeah,
that's a crucible. That
that's
that
not
movie
streaming anymore. That makes me sad.
changed.
That's on my list. So I'm gonna have to rent it. I was gonna rent Beetlejuice, but the gift card I bought to rent movies is running out of money. I bought the new Hellboy movie though.
No, cool. Have you watched it?
No. I got off work early and took a nap, and then I woke up just in time to watch The Wolfman. And by the time that was over, I was already late for this. I would hate these.
Exactly.
So I'd be funny. No, and I've told him this before, like, because he's always like, "Oh, I don't know why people recommend like me and him did that Ben 10 stream." It's because it's interesting to see somebody's reaction that is not into those kind of things. Like, I really like his Nightmare video because he's coming at it from like, I didn't grow up with these. I'm not a fan of these. He's still wrong about Nightmare 6 being important, but I like half of that movie.
It has its moments.
She's dead, Jim.
I think it's pretty bad. No, she's not dead yet.
No, I like the first half when it's just like the kids in Springfield. When you get to that second half and they go back to the like orphanage or whatever, or not Springfield.
I was like, that's The Simpsons.
What is the name of that city?
Elm Street City.
Hold on. Elm Street. Springwood.
Springwood. Okay.
I was halfway there. Fuck you, Robert. But when they get back to the orphanage in Springwood, the movie just loses all of its like goofy momentum. And I mean, it's not great, but it's more memorable than 4 and 5.
Freddy has a couple of adorable ones.
Impersonates the Wicked Witch of the West. That's hilarious.
Got the power glove.
Now I'm playing with power. No, because I loved that one when I was a kid, and then I made Noah watch it because I was like, "Oh no, that's awesome." And I was like, "Oh, this loses all of its momentum like halfway through."
I will say this scene is where you get some of that dark humor, where she's just dying on the floor and he's like slowly retrieving more bullets for his gun. Again, it's so mean. These are mean movies.
We live in a society where Terrifier 3 is on track to make more money than Joker 2.
Yeah.
There's something about that makes me happy. The final girl finally showed up.
That's true.
You know why they call her the final girl?
Why?
Because she's the final one to show up. Thank you.
Now I will say our good buddy Targo is seeing Terrifier 3 on Monday. I hope he likes it. I don't want to speak for him, but I could also see some people watching Terrifier 3 and going, okay, I'm done. Like, I've had enough. Which isn't wrong. That's not how I feel, but I'm not saying that's how he's gonna feel, but I could see some people liking it, but feeling like, all right, I'm over it.
Teddy,
and
I think the slasher most similar to art in terms of the longer kills. It's definitely Freddy.
Yes, I get the difference between Art and Freddy is the Freddy stuff is so fantastical, like you can't relate to it as much on a visceral level.
Yeah,
that it's a bit more cartoony.
Freddy.
Like, yeah. There isn't much stuff in the Nightmare movies that makes me wince. Like, ooh, like that looks painful.
There's one, and it's the cockroach one.
Yeah, but again, it's so over the top that like I don't feel
what
anything.
Makes me wince. You remember
the arms bit.
The arms, yes.
That part's painful.
Oh.
And if it was Art the Clown, he'd rip off her arms and starts beating her with them.
Yo, what's up, Jared?
Hello.
No, and the food one in I think 3 is
that's 5.
Gross.
I think that's 5.
Maybe it was 5.
I think food stuff in general.
Movie.
Yes.
So I think both of those that I just mentioned are in 5. It does have
the cockroach one is 4.
4 and 5 run together for me. I cannot tell you which is which. But 5, the food scene does have one of my second favorite Freddy line. Bon appetit, bitch. It's no welcome to prime time, bitch, but very few things are.
This movie is also struggling with that balance of obviously you need characters for the body count, but you still want everything to feel like it matters. Like that homeless woman stuff does feel really just like padding and superfluous, especially when she's killed off screen and it's just for like one gag. It's just
I don't know what's happening with the breastfeeding thing. Yeah, Teddy Art is just a talented comedian, very committed to his bits.
That's correct.
Bits. Maybe not his bit, but somebody's bit. And bits of them.
Oh God! If I had a nickel for every time I saw a fake penis get smashed in a film in theaters this year, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened.
I had a nickel for every time Lady Gaga joined a franchise that killed it. I'd have 3 nickels. It's weird it happened 3 times.
That joke doesn't work. It has to conform to the twice format. Yeah, she's a good actress.
Yeah, it's just funny. This is the
I
third
hope so.
like successful franchise she's joined, and the movie she joined for
Yeah.
is the one nobody likes.
Yeah.
Jared, it is the 40th anniversary of the original Nightmare on Elm Street film.
It is.
It is. We have plans for it soon. I just have to wait for my 4K copy to get here because I'm self-indulgent. We're gonna do a remake and the original.
We will. I do kind of like this janitor guy. I don't know if he's a great actor, but he's likable.
See, I was gonna say, I think he's probably the worst actor in the movie. I love Art being confused by a phone. Like, what's this?
No, don't smash it.
I mean, that phone
He's
costs
like,
a lot of money to replace.
he's like, what is this magic? I have to kill it.
And just a quick self plug: our review of Don't Look Now has posted. If anybody is curious, part of our
cool.
ongoing decades of horror. Which reminds me, Robert, we're probably gonna have to do 2 of those next week because we're running out of time in October. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do the burning for sure next week.
We'll have to do the burning and probably. Well, I guess we're not really running. Yeah, we'll have to do the burning next week and then maybe Psycho. Or we'll have to do Psycho the week after. Just because we also got to record your Silence of the Lambs review.
That's true. We do need to record that. Were you planning on? So on Sunday we're doing Silent Hill 2. Were you planning on that being like a weekly thing, or just see how far we get and when we check back in with it?
So I mean, I'll ask Noah this too, but we could either do that or I could just start playing it on Tuesdays to do a little more.
Mm.
But I do want to finish it for the channel either way.
That's fair. I'd probably prefer that just because it opens up the last couple Sundays of October for other stuff.
Okay.
Since we're already doing Until Dawn weekly on top of that.
That's fine. It'll be funny when I'm editing that for like the Let's Plays. You and Noah will just disappear at some point. Unless you decide to pop
Get
in for a
snapped
bit.
away. Teddy, the original song in Terrifier 3 is wonderful. I think they play it twice. I loved it. 3 has a really good soundtrack for like classic Christmas music, and their original songs just so good. 3 is both a modern Christmas classic and like the Christmas slasher movies to end all Christmas slasher movies. It's so good.
You know what? Actually, Robert, I'm thinking about it because I'm going to need that extra day to try to keep up with my horror movie challenges. For right now, let's plan to do the Silent Hill on Sundays just because we were going to do Batman games anyway. Let's do that instead of Batman games. Just for now. When November hits and I'm not trying to keep up with like 3 challenges, I can do that game on my own if we haven't finished it by then.
Okay.
Because if I do it on Tuesdays, that leaves me Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays to try to catch up on 3 movie challenge lists. I'm only human. Is anyone buying Blu-rays at the Shout Factory sale? I might try to get some next paycheck, but this week was just me catching up with all the games that were coming out this week.
Yeah, money's tight. Yeah, I
Jared, have you been did you get the new Dragon Ball game? Sorry, we're not talking about the movie. Nothing's happening.
Right. This is going for tension. It's this again, it's not bad. It's trying to mess with the audience. Like it can art be empathized with. Is there any humanity to this guy? And the point of this scene is no, there is zero. Like this is a soulless evil character. This isn't gonna pull a Halloween 5 where we try to make Michael sympathetic.
That I was worried
It's
they wouldn't
this
do
guy
as
is
much with the
evil.
Christmas theme, but I'm glad they fully went with it. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, a lot of good Christmas. And I guess part of why the scene falls a little flat is we already know this isn't a real baby; it's just a doll. So like, there's just not a lot of tension
I
here.
also don't understand what's happening here.
She's crazy.
Is he messing with her?
Yes, he's messing with her because he's
Okay.
gonna kill her bad. But again, kind of off screen, so a lot of this just sort of feels like
They
padding,
ran out of money after the upside down kill.
right?
Yeah, because tomorrow. I'm sorry, Jared. If you end up getting a PS5, let me know. I'd love to play it with you. It's kind of my current addiction. I just found out you can create your own what if scenarios in that game. Uh, I'm just
Oh,
gonna be
nice.
playing all of them. I don't have the creativity to make one, but I would love to play them. I like one; it's just harder to talk about than the other two because there's like
Exactly.
we're doing this
This
because
is
the
like
third one came out, but I'm struggling to find. It's like that episode of Smallville that we
so,
did where I just like couldn't talk about the episode because nothing was happening.
and to be clear, we don't dislike this movie. We think it's okay. There are some really strong
So
moments.
on the 5 scale that we use for this channel, it's like a 3.5.
Yeah, I may have said 3.5 last time we watched it. I might have to bump this down to a 3, but like I think it's okay.
Yeah. And 2 was like a 4. So yeah, probably a 3, because if 2 is a 4, 2 is a big step up.
Yes, and then 3 is like a 4.25. 3 is at least a 4.
God damn.
4.5 seems too high, but I did really like it.
Robert, did I tell you that I watched the War John Carpenter's? Yes, I did. We talked about that
Yes,
before
yes,
that
you did.
It's all running together, Robert.
It's you said it's not the worst John Carpenter movie, so I guess that's something.
It's not Ghost of Mars.
But John Carpenter did direct one of the Masters of Horror
Yes,
anthology episodes,
that's
right?
the only one I've seen.
That I should check out.
It's very bizarre. Ron Perlman plays religious, like anti-abortion guy.
Oh boy. See, now like this girl, she doesn't check the body. She doesn't check for pulse. She just runs out. What's up with that? Yeah,
Yeah,
she sawed in half, but you should still check. She could be alive.
I gotta watch. I gotta watch Hellboy and Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost tomorrow.
Oh, nice. And to be fair, Teddy, though, again, like what makes this movie is Art the Clown, and thankfully he's in a lot of it. This isn't a slasher movie where you have to like wait half the movie for the killer to show up. No, you do get a lot of Art the Clown in this movie.
That's
And
what
he's
I like
always
about
great.
Jason X. He's there for the first scene.
That's true. And you know, we probably
And
just
he
won't
kills
have
David
time to.
Cronenberg.
That's true. We probably won't have time to like fit it in anything. I still need to watch All Hallows Eve, like the first canonical appearance of Art the Clown.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen that movie.
maybe we can do that next year.
Yeah, sure.
We don't have to do everything this year.
So yeah, if you didn't remember, Art skinned that homeless lady and is wearing her upper body skin.
At least her breasts.
She's still alive. She may make it. She was also scalped.
The worst scalping scene I've ever seen. Maybe is Bone Tomahawk. I can't remember the one in that, but the one that pops up to me is House of a Thousand Corpses.
I still need to see both of those.
It's a trilogy now. I haven't. I can't bring myself to watch the third one. The second one has like a perfect ending, and then he came back years later.
Mm.
It's Sid Haig's last movie, and he looks really rough.
Mm.
That'd be a fun double feature at some point. I think And Devil's Rejects is one of those where you can watch it without having seen House of a Thousand Corpses. Next year is the 20th anniversary, so we'll do that next year.
Cool.
That's his best film. Or the pizzeria scene was one. Got me hooked on the character when I first saw it.
Yes. He's talking about Hurt, I think. That seems great.
No, because he said, like I said, this movie is really just look at this clown. Do you like the clown? Do you need more of the clown?
And I do.
Yes.
Well, like I said, it's more of a proof of concept than a narrative, which is fine, on a movie of this budget.
Yeah.
Oh, want to know about like the dumbest YouTube comment of the week that I saw? This was so funny. I'll try to send you a link. So, do you know about the TV cut of John Carpenter's original Halloween?
Yes. Funnily enough, I own that. It's on the Halloween 4K.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've never seen that version, but for context, for people don't know, so John Carpenter's Halloween comes out in 1978, and then Halloween 2 comes out in 1981, and part of like the marketing for Halloween 2 was they went back and shot some extra footage for the first movie for the TV cut, and that aired like shortly before Halloween 2 came out. And that we used to see a lot back in the day, especially for horror movies, because they had to cut out all the gore. So they would film new scenes to kind of fill out the runtime. So you get particularly a new scene of Loomis that's like a flashback of him with young Michael. And I saw that clip posted on YouTube. And there was a comment that got like hundreds of likes where he was like, this should have never been cut. This should have always been in the movie. And a bunch of people were, and this got like hundreds of thousands of likes. And a bunch of people were responding to this person like, no. This scene was shot later. This was never made for the first movie. And his response to that was, well, they were stupid to not write it and include it in the first version. He was, so he went from like, this movie's a masterpiece. This scene should have never been cut to, well, they should have conceived this scene in the first place, and it's stupid that it wasn't written ahead. It's like, what?
Fim Blitz, hey, how's it going? Welcome in.
Hello. Yeah, we're watching the Terrifier.
Says, by the way, on the Target sale, you can pre-order 3 Shout Factory titles and get one free. Oh, nice. I know. I hope that's still going next week. So the Scream Factory 4K, it's a 3-disc set. It comes with the 4K, the Blu-ray with the new color timing, and the Blu-ray with the original color timing. And on the Blu-ray with the original color timing, it has a special feature that is the TV cut.
That's awesome. That's really cool because the Blu-ray I have is the original color timing, and I do want to upgrade that to 4K. It's just like, oh, the new color timing, like, it's probably better. It's just jarring for me because I'm too used to the old version. But I would like to.
I didn't grow up with that movie, so just get the 4K.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good deal. I like that you get all those versions.
This is where I think some of the lighting choices really come to bed. Like that shot of him following the blood and you see him. That looks really bad.
Yes.
But not like, oh, it's cool throwback. No, that just looks bad.
Did you do any Amazon Day sale purchases?
No. Okay, I'm gonna rant for a minute.
Go for it.
Why does Amazon throw their Prime Days on Tuesday and Wednesday? Who the fuck gets paid on Tuesday and Wednesday? Finn Blitz horror movies. That is the purpose of this channel. Yes, thank you. I hope you like horror movies as much as we do.
This is the kill I always forget about. I've seen this movie like 4 times. I always forget about this guy.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just like,
it's standard.
Yeah. It's hard to top that Saw. Yeah. Kind of have seen, man. Oh, okay, I'll get back to the Amazon thing, but real quick. The other day I saw this movie on YouTube. And I was like, oh, YouTube, because, sometimes you'll find, often you'll find old, uncensored horror movies on YouTube, and YouTube just doesn't care. That's how I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, and it was the full cut with all the gore and nudity and everything. Terrifier, I skipped right to the Saw scene, and nope, it was cut down. Since it's so funny though, because the way they cut it, it's like Art grabs the tarp or whatever, and then we just cut away to the other girl's reaction. And if you're just watching that version, you have no idea what she's looking at. And then like they cut through that kill super fast because they can't show anything. So what's even the point? Don't watch this on YouTube. Watch this on
Femblitz, yes, we are watching Terrifier.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And again, in my opinion, these movies just get better and better. I'm really impressed with just the upward trajectory of these. But what I was going to say about the Amazon thing was I did one self-indulgent Amazon sale purchase. I got Van Helsing on 4K for $9.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It also has the Blu-ray and the digital copy.
I really wanted the Back to the Future trilogy because it was like 50% off. I didn't have any money until Thursday, the day after the sale ends. And they do this every year. It pisses me off. If you're gonna do that, can you at least extend it throughout the fucking week?
Yep. Yeah, it should be a week.
That is not as self-indulgent as the most self-indulgent 4K I've ever bought. I have Doom, the 2005 movie on 4K.
Great. Yeah, so I own, I think, 5 4Ks now, and one of which is Van Helsing. I'm not ashamed.
You know what else I want? Just for because I think it's funny that they did a 4K transfer. Godzilla 1998.
Yeah. The problem is I haven't even upgraded that to Blu-ray yet. I don't know if I could justify 4K for that one, but I don't hate that.
If you put it for like $9, that's not a...
Sure, totally. And the problem is that's a movie I loved when I was a kid, and I've seen many times. I just don't go back to it much anymore.
It doesn't.
It doesn't. I just don't revisit it much. Like I still just have my DVD. I never even upgraded it to Blu-ray.
I never even had it on DVD. I had it on VHS.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my cousin had it on VHS. That's how I first watched it.
I also don't hate that movie. It's just not great.
Yeah, it's a dumb fine. Van Helsing, I think, is underrated. That would be a fun commentary at some point.
This might be the 20th anniversary of that.
God, you might be right. Unless it was 2003. No, maybe in 04. It was 04 or 05. Because it was after X2, I think. Okay, I'll check that.
Daddy, so we had 2 Halloween settings, 1 Christmas. When should 4 take place? Easter.
Ooh. Easter's fun. That's a fun one. My pick was 4th of July.
I want Easter because I want to see what he does with an egg. Femblitz said Discord got me banned for live. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, fuck. Van Helsing was 2004. It is the 20th anniversary.
God
shit.
Damn.
Got too many anniversaries this year.
Jared, to your heart, I didn't even like Godzilla 98 as a kid. Oh, I loved it, but like I hadn't seen any of the originals other than Godzilla vs. King Kong.
I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was very like I loved the Jurassic Park movies, so Godzilla was more just part of that thing.
Yeah, that's why I loved it. And like, I can divorce it from the name Godzilla enough to enjoy it on that level, even if it's not great.
It's a dumb monster movie. It's a lesser version of Independence Day, which, in my opinion, still like I still like that.
That's his best movie.
Yes.
Welcome to Earth.
That movie has an insane cast. Like that cast makes that movie.
Yeah. That movie. I unfortunately also watched the sequel. Jared says so 3. I was wrong about the day. Yeah, it's 04. I'm just imagining Art with those Easter bunny ears at some point. Yes.
Yes, that's a great
I also remember as a kid, I rented the Van Helsing game. I wonder if
my friend had
hands on that.
It probably doesn't hold up.
Probably not.
I know he finished it. Like I know he liked it okay, but
I couldn't get past the Frankenstein boss as a kid.
That movie had an awesome toy line too. I was so jealous. My friend introduced me to that movie, but he had like the whole Dracula Castle playset. He had all the figures. They went all out for the marketing of that movie, and it did not pay off. That was a big misfire.
That's so sad. That movie's fun.
I think it's fun too.
You can tell they legitimately love like the Universal.
Yeah.
I'm not Dracula. That's actually on my list for this October. It asked me to pick an underrated Dracula, and I couldn't think of any, so I
Oh,
just went with Van Helsing.
that's a good pick. Okay, this doesn't look like a circus at all. I haven't been to many circuses, but I don't usually see this.
I saw this just yesterday, actually, when I went to the circus.
It's also kind of adorable
There was a
because
clown there, and he did something, and then these this man and wife, like fell from the ropes, and they had a kid. It was really weird. And then that kid got. I read that kid got adopted by a billionaire.
nice. Oh god, there's just something adorable about this set too, because it's like all they can afford is one
This
sign and a
makes me
string of
wince.
lights. Yeah, this is painful. But then in the second one, we get to go to an actual amusement park. It's like, oh wow, these are some nice sets. Some good variety.
Clock him.
No, the funniest thing about Van Helsing and why I knew I was like, I'm pretty sure it's after X2 is because he's just Wolf movie. He's the same character.
No, and it's funny because that's my first like introduction to the Van Helsing character. So I was really confused when I saw like a real, more traditional Dracula adaptation, and he's just like this old man.
Why is he this old guy?
You remember that Van Helsing animated movie that they made? That's like kind of a sequel to that movie.
I never watched it.
I didn't either, but I saw it on the store shelf, and I was like, I kind of want to see this, but I don't know if I want to buy it.
That was the era where like everything had an animated tie-in movie. Like that Hellboy had a couple. You know, like we were doing that with everything. Yeah, Van Helsing, it's got to be your thing. You know, it's just a schlocky action movie, which is what a lot of people didn't want and is why they didn't like it. For what it's going for, I think it works. It's not as good as The Mummy.
Or you got to be just that
I'll
right
say
age.
that.
Like, I feel like I was the right age.
Yes.
So that's 04, 92 to 2000 is 8. So I'm like 12. That's like the perfect age for
Yes.
that.
Oh, when you're 12 years old, that's the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
It gives you everything you want.
Yeah.
But the mummy still holds up, and I'll fight anyone who says it doesn't, because the Mummy's great.
I mean, I know you'll have someone you'll have to fight.
Oh no.
Connor hates
Austin. Who?
Connor.
Oh, weird.
You know, he hates him. We used to give him shit because he said that Twilight is better than that movie.
That's just incorrect. Well, in The Mummy, that was one that was a hit, but there were still, a number of people that didn't like it, and then it went through its phase of like, oh, this movie doesn't hold up, this movie sucks, and it kind of it took like 20 years, but it did reach that reappraisal stage for people like us who grew up on it, where it's like, no, that movie's great. Like,
now I just want to watch The Mummy, awesome. Robert. God damn it. Also, Connor, if you're ever making this far in the commentary, I'm just fucking with you. I love you. You're fine. Yeah, it's fine that you don't like that movie. Finblood's horror movie films. Yes.
I agree, Teddy. I can't think of another franchise where you see the budget grow that much from installment to installment. Like this just doesn't happen. Like look at the
250 grand for 2 to 2 million for 3. 3 who struggled to find distribution. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Van Helsing is a better version of The Mummy, in Jarrett's opinion. I don't know about that.
I don't agree with that.
That's fair that's your opinion, obviously, but I think I like The Mummy better. And part of that comes down to leading man. I love Hugh Jackman, but like I love Brendan Fraser from that time period.
Yeah, he's so much fun. And again, Hugh Jackman's great. He's also just Wolverine.
Like, and he does it better.
That's why they hired him. Too. Yeah, exactly.
What are these two guys talking about? Are you talking about us? We're talking about Terrifier, and it's whatever comes to mind when nothing's happening on screen.
No, she's trying to escape. She's trying to escape art. But what I was saying, it's just insane to see like such a no budget tiny grindhouse niche thing evolve into something in mainstream theaters that's beating a Joker movie. Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't happen.
And it's
Because
getting a
if he
video game.
is getting a video game, and again, Art the Clown, he should be in Dead by Daylight. He should be in Mortal Kombat. Like, he should be a guest
Can we
villain
maybe
character.
not Dead by Daylight, but
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's in that game. I'm just saying. But Mortal Kombat would be fun. You could do so many kills and fatalities and weapons. Like, Art the Clown is built. He makes more sense for Mortal Kombat than Ghostface.
yes. Well, and Ghostface is interesting because Ghostface feels too late. Like, we did the slashers 2 entries ago.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I thought they were. I'm surprised they never did Michael for Mortal Kombat 11 or 1, just as synergy with those movies. It's really weird that they never did Michael Myers.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe maybe behavior still owns
just
like,
rights.
exclusive rights.
Yeah, it's probably just a rights thing. But also, what I was going to say about like franchises, because Terrifier to me, comparably, you think of stuff like Tremors or the VHS movies or the Leprechaun movies that start as like moderate hits and then just kind of devolve into like straight to streaming or straight to DVD stuff, which is inherently a bad thing. It's just that's their niche. Like, they never grow beyond that. Like, I can't think of another franchise that's like this, that has had this type of growth to the mainstream.
Yeah. That it not only doesn't happen in general, it especially doesn't happen these days. Yeah, especially these days. Right. In a genre that is mostly dead. Or not genre, subgenre.
This gag is really funny when he drives through the.
The Mummy takes itself too seriously compared to Van Helsing. Oh, I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that. There's a lot of comedy in The Mummy.
It's
they definitely have different
Brendan
tones.
Fraser. He's a comedy guy.
Do you know where it is? Yes. Do you swear every damn day? I think that movie's so quotable.
Benny, you're on the wrong side of the river.
Oh, also, I had
the guy who plays Benny was in something I just watched too.
Oh, interesting. He's in Van Helsing. He plays Igor in that.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm not gonna be satisfied until I bring this up, but go ahead.
Okay. I just had this thought just because we were watching the Batman versus Dracula earlier on our Gotham City Bulletin channel. I just also had an epiphany because the Universal Mummy movie is very Dracula. It repeats a lot of Dracula. It just occurred to me like, oh yeah, Benny's just the Mummy's Renfield in that movie.
Yeah.
And that never occurred to me. Like, there is still a lot of Dracula in that movie. But yeah, I think that movie's great. Oh my god, he's eating her face.
What's wrong with your face? Keep an eye on the chat for me while I look at this.
Oh, sure. I will say, and again, it's could just be a taste thing.
1995's Lord of Illusions. That's what it was.
Okay, I never even heard of that before you brought it up, so it's on my list. I'll see if I can get to it.
Until I was looking for movies, but I like Clive Barker. That's one of I think 3 movies that he's both written and directed. It's okay.
Yeah, but I will say, Van Helsing, whether you think it succeeds or not, it's going for more of a schlocky, campy tone. The Mummy's more like adventure, old school, pulpy comedy. So again, like I understand if one's just more your vibe than the other.
He unalived himself, Robert. Why did he do that? Is
he
stupid?
He's dead. Yeah, Art the Clown is dead.
They didn't make any more. I really want this franchise to be the next Friday, but take it to another step, where we get 3 movies with the word "final" in the title.
I'd be so happy if they called 4 the final chapter and then made a 5th one right after.
Teddy, question: Do you think Art knew he's supernatural will come back, or do you think he'll die for good? And that was a real unaliving himself.
Art, whatever he is, he knows he's supernatural.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to tell because none of this is mapped out. None of this is thought out.
No, I also don't care yet.
Him in a day.
Yeah, I don't need 20 minutes of exposition explaining this stuff. A lot of people.
if you had just cut out the makeup scene, I wouldn't be complaining as much because that is too human for a supernatural being.
I, I disagree, though. It's very clear they're consistent about that. Like, one of my favorite scenes in 2 is when he goes to the laundromat because he has to clean his clothes. Like, I'm fine with that stuff. I think that's fun.
No, that's fun, but that I don't know. Maybe, maybe I'm just being too nitpicky. Yeah, Robert, that's what I meant about Van Helsing. Yeah, okay, so he likes the
Okay.
schlock here. That's fair.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't fight you on that. That's just at the end of the day taste.
yeah, it's just more of a campier thing. And again, like, oh god, I don't know if I'm gonna get flack for this, but I recently watched the Hammer Mummy movie because I want to see more Hammer movies. That one didn't do much for me. I thought it was just it's probably my least favorite Hammer movie I've seen. Like, it's
It is.
okay.
It is my least favorite. It's in that weird spot where I think it's better than the first Universal Mummy movie. But I
And a
also
lot of
think
people
that the
think
Brandon Fraser one is like the best Mummy movie.
I've seen enough now that that's probably the opinion I share. And a lot of people don't like it because it's just an action movie, but
I think what you kind of
um
have to do with the premise, like just on paper, the mummy is not an interesting creature unless you give him a personality.
and that Hammer one, but the reason why I brought that up is that's just so weighed down in exposition
Mm-hmm.
and just explaining everything. Like that movie just drags place, but like Cushing's great.
It's got a good
You
mummy
know,
design.
the mummy looks cool. Like there's good bits in it. Like it's okay. I
The
was
the
just I was a
hammer
little disappointed.
the hammer ones kind of follow the universal where Frankenstein is the best one that I've seen. Dracula's in the middle, but it has a really great monster performance. And then Mummy is just like, it was better than the original, but like, yeah. To
Yeah,
be fair,
I need to
Mummy is my
see.
least favorite classic monster in general. Yeah.
And
Oh
I
my
kind of
god,
agree, which is
seizure
a
warning.
shame. Oh yeah, oh I hate the strobe light. But yeah, no. When I'm a kid growing up, like I think the Mummy's cool. I think who doesn't love a mummy growing up? It's just such an iconic look. And then you actually watch those movies and you're like, oh, this character's kind of boring, and he's not threatening.
Yeah.
But no, I still need to see the big heavy hitters from Hammer. I still need to see the Frankenstein movies. And I still need to see the Dracula movies.
I've only seen
Um,
I've seen the first two Dracula, and I've seen the first Frankenstein. I really like their first Frankenstein because it is a different take where it is very much focused on the professor. Um,
mhm.
and the monster is kind of just an afterthought. Um,
And uh, I wanted to mention this earlier when you were talking about Van Helsing, how you like watch the older movies and you're like, oh, Van Helsing's just an old guy. He's
yeah,
not Hugh Jackman. I feel like Peter Cushing in those Hammer movies is like that step toward like, no, he's like a vampire hunter now
yeah.
direction. Like he's obviously a middle-aged guy. Like he's not Hugh Jackman, but he's more of like overtly a vampire hunter who does this a lot. So I feel like that's kind of where you get that step in that direction.
Jared Gerhardt says the mummy seems to want to be schlocky. It just doesn't go far enough for him, and that's fair. I don't think it's trying to be truly
Right.
schlocky. It's just a throwback to like the adventure. It's
And
what
I don't
Indiana
even
Jones is trying. It's like it's trying to be Indiana Jones in that way.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And I also don't dislike The Mummy Returns. There's some fun stuff in that movie that's just
I like that
a
movie.
sequel. It does a lot of repeating of the first one.
Mhm.
In a lot of ways, it's just the first movie again. Oh my
I
god.
ironically love CGI Scorpion King Rock.
So good. When I was a kid, I didn't realize how bad that looked. And then years later, I'm like,
um,
oh my god.
I didn't realize it was bad, but I remember because I knew who The Rock was because I was aware of
Mhm.
wrestling. I wasn't as big of a as I am now. It was like that's like I mean, it looks like The Rock, but like there's something wrong. Like he doesn't look right. Like as a kid, I couldn't process what I was seeing.
And maybe that was less weird for me because I wasn't familiar with The Rock. And I was just, I mean, I'm a 2000s kid. I grew up on a lot of mediocre CGI. So I think I was just used to
Yeah.
movies looking like that. And then you get many years removed for it. And you're like, oh God, that looks horrible.
Jared says the Wolfman is his favorite monster. He,
I like The Wolfman.
I really want to like the Wolfman because I like werewolves, but I've seen the original and I've seen the remake, and I don't like either one of them. So I think at this point, like I hate the Wolfman. I mean, I don't hate him. I just He's one step above like the Mummy.
I like the Wolfman stuff in Van Helsing. Have you seen American Werewolf in London?
Yes,
That's a good one.
that is the best werewolf movie. I got the Arrow 4K. That's how I watched it.
Oh, cool. I
Best
still need to
werewolf
get that.
transformation.
Yeah, that is actually correct.
Teddy, the Invisible Man is the most underrated. Invisible Man rocks.
That's correct. That's like
so.
the
If
forgotten.
I had to pick favorite monster, it's probably Dracula, but that's all just Bela Lugosi is just like that is Dracula. Best movie is Frankenstein if you count Bride as like just the second half of that movie.
Yeah, I love both. I love Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein is the better story. Dracula's the better monster.
Yeah, I mean, they're also doing two very different things.
Well, what I like about Dracula is that he stands out because a lot of those Universal monsters are kind of like they're more sympathetic and like man is the real monster. No, Dracula is just an evil motherfucker.
Yes. Oh, this has a dedication to Wes Craven, George Romero, and Toby Hooper. That's cool.
Cool.
They all died like not super long before this movie comes out. Like within 5 years. We lost a lot of
I gotta say, Wes Craven hit me. I think George Romero probably hit me the hardest just because Dawn of the Dead is like my second favorite film ever made.
It's great.
I can't wait to watch it again. From Finblood's asking, goriest horror movie ever made.
I can't answer that. These Terrifier movies rank pretty high.
I am going to go with Peter Jackson's Dead Alive.
Interesting. And then it's like, well, what type of gore? Because Evil Dead 2 would rank high, but it's so cartoony. I see that as such a.
It is very gory. Peter Jackson's Dead Alive makes that look like vanilla.
Oh, that is John Carpenter
fest.
John Carpenter's The Thing ranks pretty high. There's a lot of gore.
I don't know if that's really gory so much as just like monstery.
It's very slimy. There's a lot of gross stuff in that movie.
Okay, so if they did a Art versus Blank movie, who would it be? I know the obvious is Freddy, but not him. Gerald Gearhart says, "I love the story of Dracula more than the monster itself." Okay.
That makes sense.
Art versus Victor Crowley.
That would be fun. We've talked about that before. Art versus Leprechaun.
Oh my god! Because I could see that in my head now, and now
only if it's Warwick Davis. Only if it's Warwick Davis.
Yeah. Now that's one of those. I don't care about recasting. That retires with him.
Yeah, but I get where Art versus Chucky. Yeah, that's great because you need him. You can't have like Art versus Jason because he's also a silent killer. You need a killer who talks a lot to get that contrast. I get where Jared's coming from though, because the Dracula book, the Dracula character himself is more of an idea, more of a force of nature. He's not really a developed character in that story. You know, we don't get his POV. We get that more through adaptations and different takes on that material. But so I get where he's coming from with that. Yeah, I agree. Teddy Art would just keep laughing at the Leprechaun. He would.
Finblood's Terrifier kill count. Watch it now. I've already seen the kill count. That's how I discovered this movie.
It's also, again, like this movie has a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is honestly a lot higher than I expect. It just depends on the few people who reviewed it.
I feel like the people reviewing this are more underground like critics.
Yes, and then again, I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes, but the sequels have better reviews than the new Joker movie. That's just crazy. Those really movies funny. I remember when Terrifier 2 was coming out, like, this is getting way better reviews than I expected from like normie critics. It was weird. Not that I'm complaining.
The best critic thing will ever be, I've told you this before, but I'm going to say it for the chat. When when Exorcist Believer and Saw 10 were coming out at the same time.
Yes.
And Saw got a better critical reception than an Exorcist movie.
Yeah, the other day we were talking about legacy sequels and how the problem is only a couple are actually good, like Halloween 2018. Uh, do you think Saw X almost kind of counts? The difference is obviously it's not retconning or ignoring movies. It's just, well, it's just another prequel movie that's a direct sequel to
Sorry,
like
counts
the
as
first
what?
one, like the legacy sequels. I know it's a different thing, but it's
No, because
I feel like it's
it
worth.
doesn't pave over 3 through
Yeah,
9,
I know.
or 3 through 8.
But I think it still comes from the same place of let's just do the sequel to the first movie that people want. I feel like it comes from that same.
But if one of those is going to
But they are
count,
different.
it's more so Jigsaw. Because Jigsaw
Okay.
is we took a long break, now we're going to come back, and it's also a prequel. And this is kind of what we want, Jigsaw, Tobin Bell is back. X is like the third, like, we're bringing it back again.
And between that, you get Spiral, which was supposed to start a new franchise
from the Book of Saw.
Yeah,
what a pretentious title.
Let's see what else is in that book. Will we get to see more? Probably not. Anyway,
Gareth, I might finally try these films. I'm finally curious. I would just say watch 2.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you want to start with 1, it's also not a bad place. But yes, so we're gonna call it here. Thanks for hanging. Oh, wait a minute. Teddy, honestly, this franchise obviously is critically loved, but it's more liked by mainstream critics than I would have ever thought. Yeah, what you're just talking about.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it here. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Robert, it's been fun. We will be back Sunday with Silent Hill 2.